child. And certainly tonight is about giving you a little bit of what we're about, where we're coming from, a chance for you at the end, I believe, to ask any questions that you have, and I know that we then move into a process whereby we do some interviewing, and there'll be other chances to ask questions there as well. I am going to introduce a few of my colleagues to my left. First person is also new to CHAC, so this year Mr. Steve Baker joined us as our head of primary. He comes from a long tradition of educating in a variety of co-ed and girls' schools, and we're really excited with what he's going to bring for us here at CHAC. I'll start at the left-hand end. Mrs. Susie Alexander is our assistant head of primary teaching and learning. She's an expert in the curriculum field and is sought out by not only CHAC staff but also teachers from other schools because of her expertise. Miss Anita Spencer, who's our assistant head of primary administration and pastoral care, has a real heart for children and does a wonderful job of working really closely with students and also a lot of time with parents as we navigate what we know will happen as kids grow up and learn. And I think one of the things, and I think Steve's going to talk about this, is learning is about making mistakes and moving on from them. There's nothing wrong with getting something wrong occasionally and making a mistake. And it really is about helping people learn from that. And we're all still doing it. I apparently make lots of mistakes. And the last is Bonnie, our school dog. Bonnie loves coming to events like this. She actually just loves people. She's actually been really well behaved today. So please feel free to pat Bonnie later on. And the lap on which Bonnie sits is Brother Nathan James, who's our college director of mission and chaplain. And again, he'll be speaking a little bit about our Anglicanism and where we come from there as well. A little bit about the history of CHAC. This is our 36th year. We celebrated our 35th year last year. We became Anglican in the early 90s. It actually started as an alternative school. So it was really for secondary students, so we didn't have primary back then. Kids who had been expelled from every other school they'd been to or were about to drop out of the education system. And it was very, very small, very much about a tutor and a student approach. So it had a really strong pastoral element to begin with. Unfortunately, that wasn't sustainable in terms of being able to run a school like that. So we changed from Cannon Hill College to Cannon Hill Anglican College in 1994, I think it was, but it might have been 1993. And the school has grown significantly since then, really focusing though on making sure that pastoral buzz, that sense that we had way back then about caring for the individual student and looking to help them be the best version of themselves that they could be, as something that we've maintained. We've certainly received some excellent academic results, and our students really perform very well in that stage, which is one element of what we do. And I think one of the things that we like to talk about here is that we are after a holistic education. So academics are really important, but so is gaining social skills, being involved in physical activity, working on the emotional side. We really have a great push on kindness and gratitude. It was interesting, we have a new set of college captains in the secondary school, and we've had a couple of assemblies in the last couple of weeks, and they've been really pushing that sense of kindness. You know, how you treat people, how you engage with people around you is so important to what we do here, and that begins down in our primary school. And I won't steal everybody's thunder by getting myself too far off track today. Our primary school is a two-stream primary school, and I've already had a question today, thank you Helen, about are we going to expand the primary school? Not at this stage, not that we couldn't do it, but we would actually have to build to do that right now. And I'll start talking about some building that's going on in the secondary school at the moment. We've actually spent some time building in the primary school for the last couple of years, and now we're doing a bit of building up here that will be a benefit to your students. And there's a sports centre and student wellness centre, and I'll get to that in a little while. Yes, we're a high demand school. We have our Year 7 lists closed into the next decade, so I think it's 2032 that our lists are closed for secondary at the moment. So there is a lot of demand there. I only keep that slide up for a really short period of time because I really hate when they put my picture up. The slides they showed me earlier today do not have my picture on it, but somebody over there went and put it on, so the picture there looks something like this. Again, my role, I guess, is to set the big picture. We have a vision. We want to be distinctively innovative, so we are about being, I guess, a little bit more on the edge. We try things. We want kids to challenge. We actually don't love making mistakes, but we learn from them, and we certainly are willing to try things to create an environment where kids feel safe to try things. So that successful, sustainable Anglican co-education. We do have a mission, and I do like this one. We're a dynamic Christian learning community which strives to offer a balanced and holistic education. So that's what I was talking about just before. There are 6 elements: intellectual, social, physical, emotional, aesthetic and spiritual dimensions. And we certainly look to build that in all of our students. We do have a statement of values, and it's all pinned to the Anglican ethos and our Southeast Queensland diocese, and there's lots of information available in that particular space, and I won't steal all Brother Nathan's thunder there as well. We do have, our symbols are the chrysalis, and it's a nice reflection on what we're about. We talk about the leaf being the sense of new life, the branch being the strength and stability on which you can make that new growth happen. And we all love the chrysalis because it's that constant rebirth that our students are facing as they grow and develop. We do have a series of core commitments. We talk about taking responsibility, we talk about achieving their personal best, and one of the things we really strive for is to allow each of our students to be the best version of themselves they can be. We talk about helping them to discover their passions and then follow them. Now preppies don't generally find their passion quite that early, but it is a journey that does begin way back there, and I guess what we're trying to do is enable them to know that it's safe to try something, to discover, I really love singing and I'm going to follow that. I'm really into robotics, I really want to follow that. It's about opening up those opportunities for our students down the track. Others, we want them to make really good decisions, certainly about careers, but relationships and all of those types of things. We want them to be articulate, self-motivated, interdependent, creative, critical thinkers, and we want them to be spiritually literate. We want them to be making reasoned, knowledge decisions. There's a lot of the world that spends its time making decisions without too much thought and without too much background information. We are really about helping our kids to get the information to then make the decisions that they want to make. We do have a motto that says, with courage and compassion. And certainly we want our students to be really courageous. We want them to stand up for what they believe in. We want them to know themselves and be the best version of themselves that they can be. We actually have a theme every year, and our 2024 theme is Be Your Best Self. And so we've already started talking about that across the school in terms of what that means in terms of your endeavours, your attitudes, and all of those sorts of things. We have a really strong culture that we protect, and I really love this quote here that came from the Anglican school. So it actually came from, at the time his name was Bishop Jeremy, he's now the Archbishop of Brisbane, so Jeremy Greaves. There was a lot of stuff going on in the papers, particularly about things that were happening in New South Wales. You might remember it all. And I really love the bit I've highlighted in black. We acknowledge and celebrate that both our students and staff members are poor. We invite and welcome all, and hospitality is given to every student, no matter the race, gender, sexuality, ideology, ability, disability or religion. No one is excluded. And I think that's something that is a really key element of our culture here. Doesn't mean we don't have to work at it at times. Everybody does, but that certainly sits at our core. Recent developments. So some of these will be of really interest to you. So these are things that actually have been finished off or being finished off right now. So there is actually a new OSH building, so outside school hours care, as prep and primary parents. That's certainly a place that you will be interested in. At the moment, while our building's going on, it's actually our finance building. But by the middle of next year, it will be our OSH centre. Our OSH is actually in our primary school at the moment. We have some new sports courts, which obviously our primary students will have access to using, and a student car park, which is really scary because we have so many kids who drive. We want to get them off the roads into a car park. And at the moment, that will be a staff one while we're getting everything finished. we're actually having a really interesting discussion today, because at the moment it's just a big open space with not those blocks of concrete to stop them driving off and into ditches. So we're interested in seeing what our staff are going to do without the blocks in place while they're using it. I guess more exciting though is the construction that is underway. And again, as people moving into the school in 2025, and into the future, there is a new sports complex being built. So just over this side, 2 indoor sports courts, a gym, some classrooms and all of that sort of space. A couple of representations there of what it's going to look like. It will be an excellent sporting facility that all of our students get to use. The other major construction is our wellness building, or admin and wellness centre. So this is really where we focus our student support. And certainly it sits up in the secondary school, and we have some satellite elements of that in primary, but this will be, all students will be using it. So the college has its pastoral leadership team. It has a big first aid component up there. We have psychologists who are there to support our students. That's where they're all going to be centred. So we're really excited. June 2025 apparently, but every time it rains, I just think that adds time. We're really focused on being intentional about our strategic intent. And so our strategic intent at the moment is worked around that the concept of developing world and work ready individuals. So we want them to be ready to go out into the world, and we know that the world's rapidly changing. I can't tell you what the world's going to look like when your children finish grade 12. But I hope, and our intention is, that they will have the skills, the knowledge, the experiences that will help them thrive in whatever that environment happens to be. We hope that they go out there and become contributors to society, that they do things that help others. And we've had a number of past students who have gone on to do some fantastic things, setting up charities. The one I really love is that when the Haiti earthquake happened, one of our students actually set up, and it's worldwide now, it supplies all the school resources for the students of Haiti because they don't have anything. So we really want to encourage that sense of our students having a gratitude for what they've experienced and had in their CHAC education, and giving it back to somebody else. That's probably enough from me, and I didn't actually follow in with my notes and all of that. Sorry about that. But my job here really, I guess, is a bit of an overview, but also to welcome you, to look forward to catching up with many of you as we progress into the next stage. And for those who join us, we look forward to a very long, fruitful relationship. It's 13 years from prep to grade 12. It's a very long time. That can also be a great time. Enjoy the rest of the evening, and again, thank you for all attending today. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary, and thank you for popping my photo up there. It's a really good one for everyone to have a look at. As Gary mentioned, my name is Steve Baker, and I have been very excited to join the CHAC community this year, having been at an all-girls school for a long time. And so a bit of an adjustment for me is getting used to saying not just girls. I let that slip every now and then, so please, I'm adjusting my vocab to try and make sure that I'm not still stuck in a 19-year habit. So that's one of the things that excited me about being at CHAC is the co-ed opportunity. And when I looked at applying for the position and learning about the school and talking to people, it was the opportunity to become part of a community where it's very inclusive, it's holistic, and you can often read about these things and not necessarily feel them when you come to a place, but I've certainly, in the short time that I've been here and had a chance to speak to staff, to parents and students, I've really felt that. So, and I'm sure that when you join us, you'll have a similar experience as well. So, like you, I've got my own children, probably vastly different ages. Mine are 20 and 18, turning 20 and 18 this year. So talking to a few of you as I entered, there's a little bit of anxiety and uncertainty of your first child coming into prep. I've certainly been through that. I'm in a different place now where I've got one about to finish, or starting year 12 I should say, and a 20-year-old that brings its own sort of challenges as a father. So having said that, my memories and my experience and recall of my children's experience in prep is precious, and that's a really important time. So I do relate to the excitement of your first and the uncertainty of that, of handing over a very precious person to the hands of some people you don't really know that well at this stage. I understand I also understand the excitement of the second one going through and the relief of, okay, this isn't so bad. So certainly on that journey with you. I know the research, I'll make sure I slide, it's going the wrong way. I want to draw your attention to some of the research of what we know that parents, and I certainly know this myself, is what we're looking for when we're looking at schools. And key to that is academic progress. It's a core business, but as I mentioned at CHAC, I love the fact that it's holistic. There's not a huge emphasis, I should say, there is an emphasis, but it's not the only emphasis is on that academic progress. You will send your child to our school for the aim of getting successfully educated, but it's not the only thing that we focus on. So we want to make sure that we're getting well-rounded individuals. We respect the character that your child will bring, the uniqueness, and we want to develop that and work with that. We want to create that emotional intelligence that we know is so pivotal in our children and our students getting older and growing. And of course the social skills, the ability to interact and meet and work with different personalities. So they're the things that again are really important as parents. We want that love of learning that goes beyond tests and grades. We want the curiosity to drive it and the interest in wanting to take that incremental step to gaining the knowledge that gets our children to where they want to be and then achieving the goals that they have, whatever they may be. Strong teacher and student relationships, that's crucial. It's a big ask. We understand the challenge of handing your child over to someone different to take care of and support and understand. So taking that time to get to know your student, your child I should say, is important to us as teachers and as members of the CHAC community. And a key one is that safe and inclusive environment. So making sure that we create a space where we know your child, but we also give them the freedom and the flexibility to know that they can make mistakes and it's all right. And Gary mentioned that, it's on my next little slide there, is this idea of it's okay to fail. In fact, we encourage it. We want our children to lean into failure and know that it's a space that is uncomfortable, and discomfort is an important part of building that strength and that confidence and that growth. So leaning into it, but with the confidence that there's a support network around your child is what we want to make sure that they understand and receive. That allows that sense of resilience. So knowing that failures are going to happen, mistakes are going to be made, but the capacity, and I won't read that word for word, but the message importantly is when those mistakes are made or those errors or failures, as we like to look at them, there's that potential to bounce back and know that, okay, I've made a mistake, but I'm closer to getting an understanding or achieving the goals for which we're after. So that resilience is really important, and we value that. And that leads to well-being. So we want to make sure that our students are equipped with all the physiological, the social and the physical resources they need to meet their particular challenges and know that, and that's our job, to provide those resources and equip that little toolkit that your young prep students are going to have and build on as they move through the CHAC primary and into the secondary school. So that's what we aim for, and that's certainly the values and things that I've found being in CHAC, and I was really drawn to when I explored the option of applying for this job. So moving from that, I'm going to take a moment to reflect on the importance of play. So we know that we want to develop academic growth, but we know that the millions and significant opportunities that play provides in our pathway. So a key part of our prep program, and I won't dig down too deep with that, I'll leave that for Susie and Nina to a little bit more, but this video, if you bear with me, it's about a 2-minute clip, but it talks a little bit more about the importance of play. So I'll step back and I'll ask you to look at the screen up there. Hopefully we've got sound operating.
Risk is a fundamental part of play. It's not about putting children in dangerous situations. It's about saying that children need to test their own boundaries and limits. So in a practical sense, there's a difference between a risk and a hazard. A hazard is something that a child can't see for themselves that's in their environment that could cause serious injury. So for example, a hazard when you're playing outside might be a big hole in the ground that's sort of covered up and you can't see that it's there. So if you ran, your foot might drop in and it would be likely that you break your leg. Whereas a risk might be that there is a large sort of hole in the eye or something like that, but a child can see it, and they can test how deep it is and maybe walk on its uneven surface. So if we take away all the risk in play, we're taking away the opportunity for children to learn how to do things for themselves. And that's so fundamental. There will come a time where they need to know the limits of their bodies, where they need to know how to socially or emotionally stop or say no. They need those skills for themselves. And when I say think about challenging your child, is really to ask them to try and do things for themselves. If they're, getting a bit stuck with something, say they're halfway up a tree and they start to get stressed and worried, we can support them, and right here, you can do it. But maybe challenging them by just walking them through how to get down. Just take a deep breath and maybe try popping their foot here. You're alright, you've got to leave, you can get down. So talking them through it instead of actually physically moving their legs or pulling them down from the tree, in which case they're not learning how to do it themselves. So leaving an element of that challenge for them will extend their abilities because again, they're kind of playing on the edge of what their capabilities are, and they're learning how to do new things. The next time that they do it, they'll be just a little bit more confident, and a little bit more confident. Instead of they're up and down there, flashing out and thinking about it. It's all about testing. It's all about trying things out. So give them a chance, and allow them to test things out, try things out, and allow them to fail, and allow them to make mistakes, because that's how they learn.
It's one of the things I've enjoyed since the start of this term, is walking around playtime and seeing the students having a go at things. There's so many opportunities in our playground for our students to get involved with and have a go at, take those calculated risks, but learning all the important skills along the way. A couple of things to think about as we head towards next year. It feels like a long way away, and it was interesting just speaking to our prep parents that started this year. It turns up before they know it, next minute it's the first day of prep. A couple of things to keep in mind that might be worth considering is being aware that self-guided play is crucial for our children's development. So sitting in a bit of boredom is a time where we get them to start to make some decisions about what they're going to and start to be creative to take away that boredom. It's an important part of that development. So creating opportunities and allowing your child to experience a bit of boredom to promote thought and creativity of what they could be doing is a great way to approach things. Let your children play outside, and I think we're seeing less and less of that in the modern society. So all those opportunities to get outside is a bit different to when, particularly I think of my time as a child, we could just race outside and we were there until the street lights came on and that was home time. So any opportunity for your children to play outside is a good opportunity. Read, that's for emphasis there. Reading has never caused any injury, apart from myself when I was reading to my daughter some time ago. When she was young, I tried to get up to the floor and tore my meniscus. But apart from that, generally, reading is harmless, and it's in fact such a powerful thing. So please, if you can read at any time, pick up a book and read. It's such an important aspect of learning in all areas. Play games and let your child experience a loss. That was something with my girls. I was pretty ruthless, but I think I'm getting paid back these days because I tend to lose more often than I win, but hopefully I've balanced that up now. So that ability to interact with others and lose can take a little bit of learning, but you have to earn it, and that's an important skill. Last thing for me is looking when you're talking to your children. So there's going to be challenges from time to time at school, so those conversations are really important. So try and stay positive. I know often at dinner table, even as they move into senior school and older, that direction of trying to look at the positives. It's very quick for, I know my daughters would often speak about the things that were frustrating to people that might have been annoying with the subject that they were struggling with, but the importance of looking for that sparkle in the day. What was the good thing? What was something really that you're grateful for, or something that you feel really positive about? You can just keep that positive momentum. It's important to acknowledge discomfort and acknowledging that this would have been difficult for a situation and experience, but we don't want to remove that from our children and prevent them from experiencing it. Because as I mentioned before, it's crucial to lean into a bit of discomfort because that's where we see a lot of growth. So important to get that balance right as well. And finally, I guess for me is be mindful that your child will from time to time come home and say things that might not be entirely accurate because they've got their perception of what's going on. So we ask, I suppose, that you reach out to us and talk to us and give us your perspective, and we won't believe everything your child tells us, so we ask that perhaps not always believe what your child, because we do hear some very interesting stories, and probably need to caution what we take on there. But I trust that you will learn a lot about our prep offerings, and I trust that, like me, you start here, you'll be feeling very comfortable and supported in an environment that is holistic and not only espouses that, but certainly what I'm experiencing these early weeks, and look forward to many years of being here myself. So that's it from, one more thing from me, sorry. The people that we would encourage you to speak to, just if there are concerns, is obviously the class teacher, the prep teacher is the first point of call, so please reach out to that person in the first instance. We've got a wonderful support network in that we have our P2 team leader, Ms. Caroline Duncan, so she will be at the next level. But of course, you've got Susie and Anita who will be speaking shortly, access to myself, and we're very, very fortunate to have our psychologist, Amy Big Subos, and she's a wonderful resource and support as well. Not to mention, we've got 2 therapy guys, which are always lovely to see around and provide a wonderful service as well. So a great pastoral team, but I know Anita will talk more about that shortly. But I'm going to hand over now to Susie to talk to you a bit more about that teaching and learning. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. As Gary said earlier, I am the Assistant Head of Primary Teaching and Learning. I am a self-confessed curriculum nerd. I do love curriculum, so anything to do with teaching and learning at CHAC, and primary specifically, then I am your girl. I can talk about it for ages. I was where you are not so long ago, so my daughter is actually featured in a couple of photos that you might have seen up there tonight as well. So she's just started year 2, and I would agree that even though I'm not at the other end of the spectrum, I'm closer to where you are now. It does go very quickly. And I guess one of the reasons why I've chosen to bring my daughter to the school where I work is because of all the things that we've talked about. I've been here for a long time as well, and I love the place, and I hope that if you do choose to join us, that you'll see just why those of us who've been here for a long time love it and want to bring our children here as well. So, as Gary mentioned, we have our strategic intent of developing world and work ready individuals. And you might be thinking, what does that mean for my prep student? Well, we actually do start it in prep. We're looking to develop world and work ready individuals from prep because, as Gary mentioned, he has to take them under a little bit. We don't know what kinds of jobs your children are going to be doing once they leave. The world is changing quite rapidly, so we need to be preparing our students with the skills to be able to continue to learn. And I know this quote is quite old, but we're still doing this. We're wanting to prepare our students for that continuing learning, our lifelong learning. So these are just some things that I actually asked our staff a few years ago what they would like to see our students leave CHAC Primary as being. What are the characteristics, what are the traits? And it's certainly what we strive to achieve here at CHAC and starting in CHAC Primary. So how do we do this? We're lucky enough to be able to develop our own curriculum and teaching and learning programs based on the Australian curriculum. We are using the latest version 9. Because in primary school we have to do all the subject areas, we do have a staggered implementation plan. So we've started this year implementing English and Maths with the view to look to becoming familiar with the new science curriculum and the new technologies curriculum and the HB curriculum, with the others to come in subsequent years as well. We do have our core subjects that are taught by our classroom teachers, and then we also have a variety of specialist teachers who teach subjects, which I'll go through shortly. We use evidence-based teaching practices or pedagogies. So in the early years we use age-appropriate pedagogies, which essentially is using what the children, what their desires are, what their interests are, to help us to develop what kinds of learning experiences might be used at that age. We also use evidence data, what their capabilities are to develop those teaching and learning programs. Across the primary school, we also use high impact teaching strategies as well. So again, evidence-based, there's a lot of research into high impact teaching strategies. I won't go into all 10 of them right now, but if you want to talk to me about them later, you can. But essentially, it's a balanced approach. So what we're doing is we're using a balance of different teaching practices to develop our teaching and learning programs within the primary school. So we don't just have a one approach that we use. We do differentiate. That's a key part of our practice in CHAC Primary, is making sure that we are catering to the needs of all students within the classroom. We do incorporate inquiry and skills-based learning as well, and wherever it's possible, we do integrate subjects as well. Sometimes it's important to keep them separate depending on what it is that we're learning. So for example, spelling, we do have a separate program for that, but then of course that's incorporated with all of English. So at CHAC, we like to talk about having opportunity for all members of our community. So it's really important that we have, to start off with, that we have a good partnership with you at home in order to cater for your students and what their needs are. So we do cater for your individual students' needs. We have a team called the Primary Collaboration Team, which consists of Steve, Anita, myself, Amy, our college psychologist, and our learning enrichment teacher, Cherie. And we meet on a fortnightly basis to ensure that the students who might have additional needs are discussed, and then we triage, and essentially there's case managers supporting then the classroom teachers and other support staff who might be working with individual students. What I like to describe our programming as not a one-size-fits-all. So, you know, if your child is coming to us with a particular need, that might look different for your child to someone else's child. So we do like to cater as much as possible to each individual child. Then again, you know, we're also in a classroom of 25 to 28, depending on the year level as well. So it's what works within that classroom context. So what is really important, and what I'd like to encourage you to do, is that any information that you have, you know, post-interview process, any information that you have that you've already, you know, you might have seen specialists or people outside of school, that you can provide to us at school, just helps that connection between home and school to strengthen what we can do for your child. So any information you can provide to us in advance, and Christy and I have worked quite closely on that with some of our students who've just started with us in prep this year, to ensure that we've got the right things in place for them once they start. We also have a lot of extracurricular opportunities as well that are outside just the classroom subject areas. So we have opportunities within music and sport as well, which, you know, if you do start with us, you'll get more information from those departments about what opportunities are available for music and sport. Both of those programs are really quite strong within the school. But we also have a gifted and talented team within the primary school that also then continues on into secondary as well, and we have lots of opportunities, competitions and things that students who are highly able can also participate in as well. So these are our subject areas that we have at CHAC, as I said earlier, based on the Australian curriculum. So the classroom teachers teach English, maths, science, HASS, technologies, the arts, life and faith, and pastoral care. And our specialist teachers, so we have a specialist teacher for health and physical education, we have a specialist teacher for performance arts, so we have dance, drama and music that's taught by our specialist performance arts teacher, and we also have Japanese, which starts from prep as well. Just a little bit of information about reporting and feedback, because that's a really important part of that, you know, home and school partnership and connection. So we do provide you with a formal report each semester. We do have parent-teacher interviews, which are also once a semester as well. We use a program in Prep to 3 called Seesaw, and that's basically a way of us sharing work with you on an ongoing basis. And we also report against the achievement standard for each of those subject areas, which is freely available for you to see, so that you can see what your students will be learning and then assessed against. It's a little bit, I always like to explain this to people because it's a little bit different to when we might have been at school, because we use a 5-point scale where demonstrating means that they are demonstrating that achievement standard and they're doing what they're expected to be doing at that year level. We also have informal communication and feedback as well, so you might have parent-teacher meetings that are outside of that formal interview process. We certainly use emails to communicate as well. So that's it, kind of on a broad basis of what we do in terms of our teaching and learning offerings in Chack Primary. If you do have any questions, please do feel free to come and see me at the end of this. I'm happy to answer any questions you have about our teaching and learning programs in Chack Primary. I'll hand you over to Anita. Thank you.
Thank you, Susie. So as you've heard, within my role at Chack Primary, I'm the Assistant Head of Primary for Pastoral Care and Administration, and it is my privilege to be able to see the students grow and develop during their time at Chack, and how much they do change over the years, from really sometimes being shy as little preppies to being confident young Year 6 people moving into the secondary. At Chack, we do believe in nurturing the whole child, as you've heard, and through our Christian Anglican Values Education program, students are taught and encouraged to work together in a harmonious and caring, respectful way. Character development can have a positive impact on behaviours through their thought processes, self-esteem and overall well-being. Understanding not only our own strengths as adults, but also the strengths of others, which we teach our children, helps improve relationships with our family, our friendships, our peers, and ultimately the wider community. So at Chack, we embed character development through all facets of school life, including excursions, camps, incursions, and pastoral care and curriculum activities. This happens both within the classroom with the classroom teacher, but also by having external bodies come and assist us. We have some external bodies such as character builders who come and assist us with some camps and excursions and incursions. Sometimes they are day incursions such as a Year 4 beach day, which we have, which is a lot of fun, as well as camps and other activities. So they link often both to the curriculum as well as pastoral care programs, and they commence right from prep and run throughout primary and into secondary. Our pastoral care program is also underpinned with a shared set of guidelines for the primary school, which we like to call the Chack Way. The Chack Way is a guiding philosophy that emphasises our 5 key principles of respect, courage, care, strive and pride, and each of these principles plays a crucial role in shaping the character and values of those within the Chack community, building compassionate, resilient and committed individuals who strive to positively impact the world. Our students are very passionate about upholding our Chack Way, and that also is driven by a house competition which we have, where they get points for demonstrating this on a daily basis. We also have invested in a program called Bridge Builders, which was developed by Jocelyn Chermsky from Empowering Life Skills, and the program forms part of our pastoral care program, which aims to teach children the necessary skills required for dealing with conflict. We are very aware that conflict is part of life for both adults and students alike, and we teach the children how, in negotiating conflict, right from playground experiences, can help us further in life with negotiations within their workplace. So by teaching the students how to resolve conflict successfully, it not only instills invaluable valuable life skills for them, but it also helps them to learn more about themselves and others whilst creating a healthy and positive school environment. This program is offered to our students both in person through our pastoral care programs as well as an online component, which we encourage our early years parents to be part of, because that common language between home and school is really, really important, and it helps bridge those gaps. You'd find at home, if you use the same skills and model it, the conflict is quite, the conflicts which have happened resolve quite quickly. I know that I have used it at home when my children were little, and they often turn around and go, "Don't Bridgeville with me, Mum." But it is quite useful language to use, even as ours. We also have a college charter of commitment, which outlines our promise to the students to provide them with a safe learning environment. This is by respecting others, treating them with kindness and unity and inclusivity, and giving the students a voice and trusting what they say, listening to them and giving them information on how they can keep themselves and others safe. So ultimately, relationship building is at the heart of what we do as educators, and our students are the core of these connections. Our aim is to provide your child with essential social and emotional skills that will equip them with strategies and knowledge to navigate the world in an effective, dignified and caring way. Just like Susie's very passionate about the curriculum, I'm really passionate about kids and making sure they're happy and they feel safe and confident within themselves and that they're contributing to society. If you have any questions about the pastoral care program, please come and see me. Thank you. I'm going to pass on. I'm going to pass on to Brother Nathan, who will close us tonight.
At least it was me that got introduced, not me. Please use it the first one. So, just introduced you to Bonnie first. And this is Bonnie St. Clair. She's been with us since she was 8 weeks old. She's going to be turning 3 on the 9th of April, so she's getting a bit older. She's a Labradoodle cross, and she's very, very affectionate, and she just loves children. And she often, when it's not raining the gods down on the earth, you'll see her at the entrance of the primary. She's saying hello to people, or she's up here, some new kids up here. So she, as I said, she's very well mannered here at school, but when she gets home she goes crazy, so she keeps all her crazy for home, and she's very good here. She's got people she loves to talk to quite a bit, and kids just love seeing her. And feel free, if you ever see her around, to come up and pat, and sometimes I get a hello too. Sometimes she steals it from me. So I'm Brother Nathan James. I'm a member of the Anglican religious community called the Society of St. Francis, and we're fortunate here at our school to be the only, and we can claim this very well, only Anglican Franciscan school in the world. There's other Catholic ones you'll find in Australia abroad, but we're the only Anglican one. And so what that means for us is that our philosophy, our way of being, all things integrates that Christian story, Christian journey, along with the history and stories of Francis and Clare, and our chapel is Francis and Clare, and as well as melding into there just the general world thing. So my kind of role here at the school is a bit of a twofold one. So one is the chaplain, so that means I look after kind of what happens here inside the chapel, our chapel program. So your children will come every fortnight to chapel in year groups, either prep to 2, 3, 4, 5 to 6. And through the chapel program, we try to keep a balance between telling the Christian story, but making it relatable to what their world is today. So my sort of formula is to say, well, this is the story that we heard, so long ago, but what does that mean today? What do we take away with that? And also, as Gary read from Bishop Jones, you can see there is a strong desire for not only the school but our diocesan community to hold in tension things in the world and things in our Christian story, and try to come to a decision. She's not getting any attention, so she's going to have the image now. To hold things in tension. So when you find things happening out in the world and you find the responses of some people, you'll see that what we try to do in our schools is present a reasoned, theologically sound approach to things. So we don't take things face value. We teach, again, as Gary was mentioning, we take an approach where we right from young up through to the older students, we take the approach of helping them to be reasoned, critical thinkers and ask questions. My favourite thing when a student wants to raise a question, I say, but whose voice is speaking? Is it you speaking? Is it mum speaking? Is it the media speaking? Is it friends speaking? Where is your voice in all this? And get them to be able to respond to their questions. So that's my kind of my role as a chaplain, and tied into that is just the typical things you'll see a priest do. So I'll do things like weddings and baptisms and funerals and all those kinds of things. Hopefully not too many for funeral sides. You're probably not interested in weddings just yet. Maybe book them for a few years' time. But certainly things like baptisms, admissions to communion and stuff like that we do. And then the other side of my role is to look at the overall picture of our school mission. So we saw those wonderful statements that we have about who we are and what we want to be about. And so my role is then to help look at sort of the Christian mission, what we believe the mission of God and church is. How does that sit into our mission? How do those two work together and integrate together? And how does that flow through our school system, through our pastoral care, our life and faith religious education programs, and various other things that we do, our mission activities. So our school is very good at responding to particular things that happen in the world. So there's we've had fairly recently whole flood things up north, and we had kids that are very passionate about that. The UK Marine staff and various other things through our service communities. That's probably the main things that I get involved in here. And you'll find Bonnie and I live up here, so we kind of wander around a bit. And London Chapel is fantastic. You'll see it outlooks, even as there's a lot of construction going on at the moment, there's some beautiful wetlands that sits in the back there. So welcome, it's great to have you here, and happy to answer any questions. If you've got any concerns about your participation of students in kind of the religious side of our school, come and talk to me. Probably the other key message I have when I tell students is quite often, not here to make lots of Christians out of everybody, just sensible thinking people who want to get in touch with their spirituality and work out who they are. And when they have those big questions of life, what am I about, that they can ask those in a reasoned way. We do have 2 spiritual leaders in our prime who are elected as leaders of that kind of spiritual side of school, and they deliver prayers and reflections at assemblies and various other programs as well. So we've got some strong leadership for those, and I'm always impressed by our primary leaders who do spiritual leaders. I was just amazed when I first came to school 4 years ago. I was in the office with the head then, and she called a boy and she goes, "You're doing a reflection on Monday, and we're going to talk about this, and you'll send me something by Wednesday." And then, okay, off you go to send it back. And this is a year 6 student, 11. I can't get half the people in our parishes to do that kind of response. It'd be nice to get our parishioners to respond that quickly to things. But that's just the way it is. We're here, they're comfortable, and they're welcome. We're there for you as best as we can do. There are some rough times for people, and we're there for those as well. So bring us along, and if in doubt, she makes everything better. Thank you.
Gone the complete cycle, it's back to me. It is little writing, but hopefully you can see that. So just, I guess, a little bit of administrative stuff. I am going to ask Christy Wiley, who's the expert on this, to come up. Many of you will have spoken to Christy on the phone or communicated with her via email. This is her in person. You can read it on there, or you can borrow my glasses and try and read it on there.
Thank you, Gary. I will get up and say something just because it is a bit smaller than I expected. Nice to see you all this evening. It's great to meet you and see some faces after talking to you on the phone and emailing you. I'm Christy and I do the registrations and enrolments for the primary school here at the college. So this week you will hear from us with an online form to fill out. It's called a verification of applicant details, and that's just to get further information about your child. Once we receive all of those submissions back, we will look to shortlist students' applications for interview. Interviews, if students are successful to be shortlisted for an interview, will be on the 9th of March, on the Saturday. And then all families will have an outcome of their child's application by around Easter time, so you will have a definitive sort of answer from us by Easter. As always, if you have any questions, you're welcome to give me a call or an email. I will be just up the back out there if you have any questions before you leave tonight, but you're welcome to contact me at any time, and we'll keep that communication coming as we go through the enrolment review process so that you know what is happening. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. Did you want to say anything, Gary?
Not really.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, just want to close by again thanking everybody for making the time to come along tonight. Hopefully doing it this way filled in some gaps in what you may or may not have already known about the college. We'll all be hanging around for a little while, so if you do have any specific questions, please don't hesitate to ask Steve or Anita or Susie. They're really good at primary school answers, but we look forward to embarking on this journey with you, and look forward to many happy years ahead. So thank you for coming, have a great evening and drive safely. Thank you.